Sorry about that. Give me a second, Jason. Hey, what's going on, everybody? Another Thursday night, and man, this list of shares keeps getting longer. I need to do something else about that, I think. What's going on, everybody? People in the Boxes, episode number 19, guys. Very exciting. We're actually getting into a lot more interesting topics, and definitely still learning on my end. I don't know about anyone else who has watched and followed along. Tonight's topic, you guys, tonight's discussion: whose responsibility is it? What is it really? What does it even mean? Healthcare, guys. Let's talk about healthcare. Just before we do, though, we'll pull up our people that we have hanging out, and we want to get some housekeeping out of the way. We do have, I just want to point out that I had a really good show yesterday with a special guest on the Indoor Farmer. Go check it out on my page, guys. Actually, I forgot to put up the banner here. 1 second. There we go. Probably need to fix that up a little bit too. Anyway, so yeah, it was a good show yesterday. We have our co-host Jason. What's up, Jason?
How we doing, Waylon? How you doing tonight?
Good. Hey, do you have your phone turned differently? Or?
No, I did not have it turned yet.
It's not like requirement. I just noticed it.
Yeah, no, I wasn't even paying attention to where it was.
Hey guys, how's it going? So if you are a group admin watching this, I apologize. I did share the heck out of it, so I may have shared it to your group on an accident. So hey, give us a shot. Check us out. This is not a specific show for any specific group. It's really for everybody, honestly. And if you're wondering why I'm looking like I keep using homeless man, I feel like that's going to offend somebody. But I'm getting crazy over here, guys, with the No Shave November. Oh, that's another thing, Jason. I want to try to remember to start giving the date. You know, this is Thursday, November 17th, guys, 2022. But yeah, we're 17 days in, and man, I'm already all itchy, and it's like it's getting crazy over here. But anyway, yeah. So let me get back to the comments here. Hi, Val. Hi, Kelly. I don't know. It's so weird seeing your name like that. I don't know what to call you. I call you Sean. What's up, Matt? How's it going? So I do want to pin the link here. Let's see. But yeah, I don't know how this is going to go. A lot of people will have some opinions on it, but I think there's a lot of stuff going on right now, some holiday things going on and whatnot. So if you guys are watching this show after the live, which guys, I know it happens, we get a lot of views after the show's over. So in the next, few days after that. So I really appreciate that. We are live on YouTube, Facebook, and Twitter actually now, guys. I've got my following, I guess, or whatever you call it, over on Twitter has grown a lot faster than Twitch. So it's not the greatest. What are you saying there? I know to protect me. Oh yeah, no, I gotcha. That makes sense. So I shouldn't be outing you then. Is that what you're saying? Where did that link go? I'm not seeing the link yet to pin it. That's strange. It's not letting me. So it sent it out to YouTube, but it didn't send it out to Facebook. That is weird. Okay, well, I'll just do this. I'll just take it from on Facebook. Give me just a second, Jason. So, Jason, I saw that you guys are having a bit of a thing later. I don't want to overlap too much, and I don't think it will, to be honest. It looks like everybody's kind of busy tonight, except for the lovely folks we got in the comments. I appreciate everybody coming by. Just remember, I guess it was just me and Jason. You guys can just tell us all your healthcare stories, but if we get some people up here explaining stuff, we want to make sure we do a good back and forth. Good conversation skills. If somebody hasn't talked in quite a while, I'm gonna probably try and call on them and that kind of thing. But otherwise, this episode it's not about the healthcare industry, because it is an industry, right, Jason? It's not one of those things that you just get if nobody else is around. You have to either force somebody to learn the skills to take care of you, or you have to take it more into your own hands and make more decisions for yourself. And I think that's what really needs to be kind of pointed out here. I did look up some good information to find, and actually, oh man, it's all gone. My computer crashed earlier. Let me see if I can pull that up. Let's see, recent.
About the story of the day. I've heard about 4 people say that today. It's actually the story of the week. A lot of people are saying that for the week. It's crazy.
What's that?
Computers crashing.
Yeah, it's very strange, isn't it, guys?
Yeah.
Okay. Now I just have to close my extra window here. Oh, dang it. Give me a second. So I did find out, look at some history and stuff on the term itself, because it doesn't always. Recently closed tabs. Okay, so come on, seriously, this is it's very annoying. Recently closed tabs. Now it's not even showing me the history. Stupid. All right, we want to. I had a whole roll going there, But yeah, just so I guess we can get some other housekeeping stuff out of the way while we're waiting for some people to hang out to come in. Last week's episode was really good too. Oh poop! I'm having a brain fart on what we talked about. Oh yeah, the paranormal experiences. I don't know why I forgot that, but yeah, it was really good. Let's go check that out. It went almost 2 hours. Boom. Okay, got my tabs back. I feel better.
Kat says she had some health scares for sure. Here in Canada, our healthcare is free, so it's very different. Lucky it's free, but it also reflects in the care we get a lot of the times.
Yeah, and that term, that's just shuffling around terms. Guys, the thing about saying something is free is it's like nothing's really free, right? Like it all comes from somewhere. And that's why I point out that it's a healthcare industry. So people who work up there, they're getting paid, and you could say it's not for profit or whatever, but everybody has to earn a living wage. And so they probably work out the details, and then you get it in the taxes. I mean, it happens. Every country that claims to have free healthcare, either there's a couple things going on. And again, I really didn't want to get into the whole red tape of the industry part, because that's a lot of that is bureaucratic red tape, politics and stuff like that. That's we can't really help that, right? But we can point out that somebody has to care for you, right? Like that you can go and get your free healthcare, and it could possibly be from somebody not very caring. And I can tell you that from direct experience, guys. I am a veteran and I get free health care from the VA, right? And they butchered me. I've had a couple of times where they malpractice. They literally had appointments that they would send me hours away for, and then not even put into the system. So you don't even see there. It looks like I was never there. And things like that, things like that. It's just insane. Things like appointments my mom took me to. So that's all that's the bureaucratic red tape. But getting down to the nitty gritty of it is that you have to have somebody caring to care for somebody else. So who can care better for yourself than you? And wow, guys, there's a lot of comments. That's amazing. I love it. It's great. We got another person in the box gracing us. Mr. Bean, how's it going, buddy?
What's going on, fellas? How are y'all doing?
Another day. How you been, man?
Been good. Hanging in there. Staying above.
Waylon, you realize your sign's backwards? You got PTIB?
You're right.
He's a little dyslexic.
I was like, people,
Hey, look, I'm just happy the numbers were right this time. I had it set up as 95. Actually, the 9 was backwards. But anyway, yeah, no, just having another discussion, man. I don't know, Bean. I know you were on one of them, but man, I learn something every time we do this, and I think it's worth having discussion to give everybody more perspective in general. On a lot of these hardcore life topics. Like, we're not talking about politics today. We're talking about what healthcare really means to you. And I'm going to pull up a couple of good things that kind of give perspective on what my point is here, because I feel like each week I have to sort of I have an angle on the topic. It's not necessarily just a broad open brush of let's just talk.
I think you touched on the main point and drove it home right away. I think we can wrap this up.
All right. Wow. All right.
I mean, like you did say, it is different in every country. Every country does have a little bit different, but somebody does have to pay for it in the long run. Whether it's the government paying for it, whether it's tax dollars paying for it, whether it's coming out of your pocket, somebody pays for it in the long run. It's not like these doctors are, I'm working for free. That's not what it is. So,
well, you got to also look at the amount of money that the United States is dumping into the medical innovation to provide for the rest of the world to be able to have free healthcare.
Right, and that gets into the whole like bureaucratic state of the whole planet, right? Because there's all these logistical and regional issues as to why a country can even provide, quote, free healthcare, right? If they don't need a big military, that's one reason. There's all sorts of reasons. But to your point, the whole world is sort of connected in that respect. And that's why I like that America, yes, we create a lot of innovations, but yeah, there's also the whole greediness of the situation too. So that goes both ways. But what I wanted to look at though is like, what does it really even mean to, quote, care for your health? And it does. I was wrong about this. In my head, I thought it wasn't going to give me a medical answer about healthcare workers, but that's literally the definition right there: the organized provision of medical care to individuals or a community, healthcare workers. So I guess yourself caring for yourself is different. I don't know what you would call that, but I call it holistic medicine on WebMD, you guys. I mean, there's lots of stuff out there besides this website, but I thought, man, holistic medicine, a lot of people talk about it, and that is basically it's a philosophy. It's not a practice, right? We have medical professionals who practice medicine, but holistic medicine is the philosophy of taking care of yourself more than we do now. I mean, that's the simple way to put it. Obviously, like taking a more stand role in
preventative maintenance.
Yeah, I mean, I had a good spot.
Wait a minute, let's pause real quick.
Yeah,
Doc here says, I gave up on hospital health care when they refused to help me when they refused to help medicate me when they discovered cannabis was in my system. So the healthcare, the system, the doctors or whatever refused to treat him, a 4-time cancer patient, because he had cannabis in his system. Yeah, so that's our healthcare failing us, right? I see.
Well, The system, yes. That's why, like Doc, I know Doc knows a whole bunch of stuff about like the medical benefits of cannabis and like other things. So I know he's taken a lot of it into his own hands. Obviously, the man.
I think that also depends what you went in for treatment for too, because I always tell people that the one person you got to be honest with about smoking weed and all that stuff is your doctor, because they need to know what other body altering substances you're putting inside of you, so they know how to treat you and how to medicate you. I don't know what your exact situation is, but it could have been something like you're already taking a downer on a daily basis.
You know what sucks? How our body like produces cannabinoids, and we have an endocannabinoid system, but we're still calling it what you just call it? Body mind altering.
It is body altering from a natural state. From a natural state, it is body altering.
Imagine, but I'm just saying, like, the fact that our body makes the stuff that we're calling altering.
I see your point, Frost, but we make DMT. We make DMT also, and I can tell you that we shouldn't take that in large amounts.
Same goes for that.
Like serotonin.
Our body produces alcohol too, and we have alcohol receptors. And we shouldn't. I mean, it doesn't make alcohol, but we have alcohol receptors, and that doesn't mean that we should drink all the time.
I think everything in moderation. I mean, you can have too much, right? You can have too much of anything. So, but I like this quick and small.
We have opioid receptors. Our brain has opioid receptors. That doesn't mean we should be taking opioids on a regular basis.
Well, no, because
but some of them do have medical purposes. Hi, what's that?
No, we don't take that with caution, because we know we do take it with caution because we know what it does to our system. Copious amount of alcohol compared to a copious amount of THC, or a copious amount of opioids compared to a copious amount of THC. That's why,
right?
You know what I mean?
Still say THC is much safer.
It's like the old devil. You didn't get treatment because you smoked half a joint, or you were in a room with dudes smoking joints, and you fucking test positive for weed, so you didn't get the treatment you need in the hospital.
That's why cannabis is definitely
Wait a minute. I have somebody disagreeing with me here. She says she corrected it. Can't. You're saying you can't have too much of anything? I'm exactly opposite on that one.
Wait, what?
I think Amber was disagreeing with me on the that you can that there's.
Yeah, I don't understand that statement.
That's okay. Moving on. What's up, Kat?
She probably means weed. You can't. No, if anything.
Crystal is a healthcare worker. Crystal Graham. She's in the comments, and she's an actual healthcare worker.
I actually strive to accommodate and educate patients, creating genuine bonds and conversation with people. Also, my big thing, especially working reception, is acknowledging people and bringing a smile to their face. Yeah, that's a big thing about healthcare. I think if we could somehow quantify how much money you should pay someone in order to care, which that doesn't even always work out. You can still have people that just take and still aren't going to care. So the healthcare industry is so weird because you literally are required to care. And you can't force somebody to do that. You know what I mean? It's so weird. But this is interesting. I saw this timeline here. It looks like we didn't really start using the term healthcare until around, what is this, like, in the late night or middle 1900s, at least.
The boom of the pharmaceutical industry.
Pretty much. Yep. And I wish I could. There was a picture that somebody put on their story yesterday where on one side it showed it says health care, and it's like a whole cabinet full of like veggies and stuff, and the other side it said sick care, and it was a cabinet full of pills and
that's a good one.
And I wish I could have pulled that back up. It's all right. What's up, Jeff?
You're really opening the drug companies' war with that sort of topic.
Yeah, I mean, the actual definition in the Merriam-Webster is it ends with by a trained licensed professional. So it was only the early 1900s that you had to be like a licensed, like, you know what I mean, like that the pharmaceutical and the medical industry started actually booming, where fucking like the advancements are being made. What's that?
Or actual doctors. They just knew some stuff back then that probably healed.
Yeah.
They were like, "Oh my God, you're a witch!" Like, no, man, you had a flu. I gave you some fucking garlic juice and told you to go sweat it out.
Yeah, and you're exactly right, Frost. You're touching on something here that I want to point out is that we're outsourcing everything these days to the experts, right? The official knowledge people, instead of doing a little bit more of our own research into things like holistic medicine. And again, that's not a list of here's how to fix yourself. It's a philosophy on being more interested in doing that, you know.
Justin's gonna just sit here bagging on me the whole time. Every comment
that he's gonna stay in the comments and do it.
Every comment that he's made has been about my fucking glasses.
He knows that I don't watch the comments as much on this one because of everything going on, so he likes it.
I can't see, all right.
Let's see. I had some other stuff to point out here. Holistic medicine is the attitude, approach to healthcare rather than a particular set of techniques. It addresses.
Yeah, I like them. I enjoy holistic medicine. I'm dealing with some mental health issues right now. I just got out of.
Tell us about it, Mike.
I just got out of a psych facility. I was going to go live on my thing, but this seemed like a better place anyway. Or on finding the whole site, and something fell through. And this seems like a good place as any to do it. So,
well, thanks.
Yeah, I went off they tell you after going through recovery. I'm an non-active alcoholic, which means I do want to drink it, and but I don't at the same time. My body tells me to fucking drink, especially in times of stress. And I had one recently because I tried to take myself off with medication through doctor's help and through help with psilocybin as well. And it worked really great, so I thought. I didn't realize the shock your body goes into with none. and then I decided the only cure for that would be to take an extra amount of Zoloft on my first time back on it, which just sent me into a even lower low, and I ended up in the hospital. I got roughed up by the same cops too. The cop knew me from a previous event that had happened.
Wait a minute. So you didn't go in there willingly? They took you in?
Yes, I went in willingly, but in order to get you have to go to the hospital. You have to go to the hospital. My mom called the cops on me to get me to the hospital because I wasn't going to go to the hospital. But once they got me to the hospital and I woke up, I signed the papers and I was fine. Everything was cool. They helped me. They brought me, food, drink, whatever I want, moved me to a room with a television, a normal toilet. But I woke up in a fucking holding cell because the cops, right in my bathroom, the cops they quit. I don't know if it was in my bathroom or in the back seat, but they're telling my parents one thing and the hospital's telling me a different thing.
And this was just recently, right? You're talking about Okay.
Yeah, I had my neck kneeled on. I had the hiccups in I suffer from GERD anyway, which is a gastroesophageal disease. It causes really bad acid reflux and air pockets in my chest, which is very uncomfortable. And for 3 days, I dealt with that plus hiccups because my esophagus, I guess, was being kneeled on my neck. Kind of compressed it and caused me to have hiccups for 3 effing days. Anyway, they've got me balanced out on the medicine. I've met some pretty interesting people. And
but you said you had a good experience overall, right?
Yeah. other than all that shit, like with the whole experience of going to mental health, it helped me a lot, especially through the time. Like this is the lowest I've been in my life. Um, and I've been spiraling out of control for a few months now, to be honest. The only thing that saved me was the psilocybin, and I came out to and I had my follow up this appointment this morning with a new psychiatrist because my old psychiatrist at first she was all in, and my therapist still is all in with me. Um, and I'm going to try to continue it. But my other therapist told me not to
Very true.
or told me to not do anything until I was completely off of all my medication, right? Which kind of forced my hand. But she didn't tell me she was going to drop me when I started microdosing. So she dropped me without. So I had nobody to come to after I came off, and I started feeling itchy about not being on any medication, right?
Wait. Is psilocybin
Mushroom.
detectable by a drug test? I didn't think
Only
it
a
was.
stool sample.
So
No,
what?
no,
So
it's
you were
no,
just
it's
being
not
open and
detectable.
honest with her, and then she
Oh yeah,
decided to
yeah, yeah.
drop you.
Yeah,
That's the
and
problem.
well, like no, we decided she was helping, like she was getting me off the medicine, and it's and where I live, I can drive down to DC and I can get it. It's decriminalized, right? And I can microdose, and I did that for a month, and then she decides she's going to drop me and not help me if I need help afterwards. Exactly. Um, but this new psychiatrist that I talked to today, she's been in the field for 7 years. She doesn't have really great opinions about psilocybin, but she's interested in it, and she said that she's going to see if I qualify for treatment because of the new laws that are being passed and happening. So I might
Right.
be
Yeah, it's
like
looking
be able
positive
to
for
get it.
psilocybin for sure.
What's
Uh,
that?
I said it's looking positive for psilocybin for sure. Doc, I don't see this on my phone for some reason, and I wanted to read it out, but I didn't want to cover everybody up. Um, let me read this about Doc because he points out something that I wanted to point out as well as the shopping around. He says, in regards to care, when seeking health care, it is like I better put it up here so it doesn't keep moving on me. Where am I at here? Seeking healthcare is like buying a car. You've got to kick the tires and shop around. In reality, some medical folks are not designed to be in the medical field. The looks and comments I get when I reveal my success with cannabis oil, you'd think I was from another planet. Lack of knowledge is a horrible thing. Most doctors are not taught about the endocannabinoid system.
Nope.
Rather, the curriculum merely covers the general immune system. Deep pockets, big pharma. Yeah. No, I totally agree because I found, okay, this is my big example I always go back to is that a lot of doctors' offices, they're very busy, right? So what they do is they go by this medical journals that put out, verified peer review studies and things like that, right? And so then they have pharmaceutical companies who will back these and then put out something about a new drug that helps with certain things. And the one drug that I know of, it's a good example. They came out with this heart medicine, right? It was supposed to help your heart and this and that. And what did it do? It gave boners, big old boners, right? So then they're like, hey, we can remarket this bad boy as an erectile dysfunction medicine. That term wasn't even used before Viagra was created. There wasn't a term for erectile dysfunction.
I
So they
this bong on out of here.
okay,
That's
buddy.
funny.
Yeah, I know you got to get going. Have a good night after your hit there, Frosty. I know you're doing a giveaway later too, so guys go check out J Frost Canvas Corner. Anyway, so yeah, that's one of those
Say
things
again what the original treatment was for?
So it was a heart medicine
Heart medicine.
that they and I might be wrong about some of this, but it was definitely a medicine that they're like, how else can we market this? Have a good night, Frost. Thanks, bud. Like, how else can we market this? And so they're like, well, shit, we could come up with they literally made something up in order to sell it to doctors as a disorder so that they could sell the pills. And
that's most pharmaceuticals, I would imagine. How do you think
A lot
of a
of it, yeah.
disease? How do you see a disease and you're like, all right, I'm going to put these chemicals together to cure this? Make a fucking pill, throw a bunch of chemicals together, and see what it can be.
Well, not only that, but when they make the quote cure or the medication, a lot of times what I've seen is that they make it just good enough to sort of maybe make the symptoms subside long enough. Like it's the game is to keep you a lifelong customer. Like,
well, sure, yeah. There's no money in cures, obviously.
Sure, and so that's why, like Doc says, looking for other variations of medication and medicine that we can do for ourselves. Because to me, honestly, I think, and I'm going to say something maybe ignorant, but food is a drug. Food is medicine, right? And it may be bad or good for you depending on what you're doing. Thank you for all the likes.
It's the main medicine.
Yeah, right.
I thank Miss Charlene for 50 stars also.
Yes, thank you, Charlene. I did hit the love on that one.
I mean,
Appreciate
I mean, I'm not like saying anything against what you're saying there, but word wasn't a word until man made it a word. So, but
Right.
we're putting all these labels on everything. I don't consider cannabis a drug. It is a mind-altering substance, yes, but that's fine. There is some purpose to alter our mind. There's a
Would
reason.
you call it a chemical? What would you call it?
By definition,
It's a natural substance.
Substance. Okay, so that's your variation of the word drug.
No, food is substance as well.
Food. I think food is a drug because it definitely affects you on a biological level.
I don't know what we define a drug as.
I mean, we've gone through that. We can. Well, let's look it up.
Well, there's an actual solid definition of what a drug is. Like that's why I don't like all these people that push so hard for the legalization that they're willing to completely excuse cannabis for anything and act like it's a cure all. It's like this, and like any disease you throw at it, it's gonna kill it, or it's just it makes it look bad.
Why do we call penicillin a drug? I mean,
because it's a body or mind altering substance. It's in
the definition. It's in the definition of medicine or other substance. A substance is in the definition, which has a psychological effect when ingested or otherwise
introduced
into the body. That's food.
Yeah. If you're honest, the thing about the legalization thing, I'll touch on this for a half a second. If you're honest about it, we'll end up way further ahead than if you push tall tales, because every time one of your tall tales is found to be untrue, it pushes it back 10 steps. Like, you know what I mean? Like, anyway, that's my rant.
So I agree.
I don't know about it, but I just know that it helps me. I haven't been harmed by any of it.
Yeah.
Crystal, come on.
I'm not saying you. I'm just saying it on that whole topic, right? People excuse it and change
by that
definition.
Is sex a drug?
Yes.
Yeah.
Especially oral sex.
I think so.
Or other substance is
okay,
sex.
Oral sex
introducing into the body.
So,
yeah.
It says
for a female, it is then
into the body, right?
So
Am
for
I
a
reading that
female,
properly? When ingested or otherwise introduced into the body.
Yeah.
Female perspective up here, ladies.
If you're getting juice by giving her oral sex, then that would be.
Mike, you're going to turn all the ladies away from coming up here. Ladies, we have a pinned link at the bottom. Come up and give us your experience, especially Crystal, because I know you're a medical. You're either still
it can become addicting. It can.
Yeah, no, I agree.
Yeah.
I think anything can be addicting, and anything can hurt us too. Like I keep bringing up oxygen. That's one that like you can have too much oxygen and die. You can't do it without assistance. Like you can't you can't do it like that. But
is it, or is it just our own mind fuck?
Well, I think
You,
people
Crystal? I mean,
mistake the word drug for something negative.
okay, so then where does the food get introduced then?
I think food is a drug. It's
Why?
just from by definition.
It alters the body.
Ingested, it has a physiological effect. I think I said psychological
Okay,
earlier.
physiological. Okay, I see what you're saying there.
So
everything is a drug. It's the dumbest word in the English language. It means everything.
That's basically what I've been saying. I don't
be
understand
ingested.
anymore.
I mean, something that you ingest. Like you can't ingest wood. I mean, you could, but it's not going to change you. Well, it might change you physiologically. Is wood a drug, everybody?
Depends on what type of wood there, Waylon.
Next week, is wood a drug?
Yes, I love it. I did think earlier of a topic, but I was going to bring it up.
Some people get entranced by fire, right?
But that's what Melanie says right here, that if it alters any chemical makeup, it's a drug. And I really agree with that. I truly do. You know,
okay,
because
hold on, though,
that could hit several different things. Even excitement can turn into a drug.
Ingested, though.
Food changes in chemical. Food,
let's see.
Creates like endorphins.
That's an interesting one. Let's
like
see.
Food gives you the same feeling as getting high. It's a proven fact from going through rehab many times. I know this. It hits your limbic system. The drug does.
Well, isn't that what they say? Why like a bride or a groom will pass out during a certain event because one of their serotonin level or whatever gets so high they get it. It's like a drug.
Well, that's usually from locking your legs.
Yeah, I think you're right, Mike. Mike, do you have a headset? You sound like you're in a fishbowl, man. I should have said something. Yeah.
The mask one. I have earbuds in.
You don't sound terrible. It's just a little bit muffled, and that was a good point that you just made. But look at this. I don't know who Maya Angelo. Maya Angelou. I know who that is. What am I saying? Maya. Oh my gosh! You don't read the word that often, I guess. But yeah, excitement is a drug, and people whose lives are filled with violence are always wondering where the next fix is coming from. That's kind of true.
It is
true. You have the thrill seekers, right?
You know, that crime, that adrenaline rush.
Yeah.
Food can be medicine, however. We must also be careful with it. Before you and I were born, our animals, fruits, and veggies were produced naturally, and much of our animals' food was cannabinoid rich. Really?
Yeah.
How?
Before the fucking
fell by the wayside.
There's natural cannabinoids in lots of food.
Franken syrups.
We had to ingest so much shit into our food to make it last. Make it preservatives and all that shit just to make it last. And
I really doubt my cannabinoid system is depleted, but I think I know what he means by this. Don't worry that our endo system is the main artery of our immune system. A 4-time cancer person. Yeah, definitely. I know. I believe you on that one. And I think to your point,
everybody.
Doc. Hello, Melanie.
Hi, Melanie.
Hello.
We have a female perspective now. You do.
Okay, I took the things off.
Yeah.
Hopefully I can hear you. We'll see.
So, Doc, you're touching a little bit on what I found out. I don't remember what episode I was on, but I was looking into whether you can survive on just eating cannabis. And I don't mean cooking it or decarbing it or anything, but literally just eating it. And that question is not answered. That the question of how long can a person survive on just eating cannabis, but the question of is cannabis edible is 100%. If you eat just a nug, just a bud, you get the full profile of the nutrients of the plant. You don't get any sort of a psychoactive effect, but you do get a whole bunch more nutrients than what we get even from eating edibles and stuff. So I thought that was awesome. I want to start making smoothies with bud in there,
I've seen some cooking channels where they top off their weed or top off the cooking dishes with unburnt flour,
Yeah, Yeah, cooking on high does that.
I haven't seen that. That would be good.
Yeah, there's a couple different ones, and they explain in there that it added actually that flavor, or a little bit of this, a little bit of that. So
Kat's got a good point here. I mean, life is just the chase of dopamine and serotonin. That is true.
I mean,
Even-
it is.
Even somebody who is staunchly religious, and I don't want to get too much in religion, but somebody who is like, say, like a monk, doesn't own a thing. He lives, he's probably got all sorts of sort of serotonin levels like crazy too, because he feels so connected to something, higher than himself.
Mm-hmm.
Like there's an addiction to that too, I think.
So when I was when I was in the rehab, when I was a teenager, one of the things that they had us do was go outside, and they had this it was like a cable, like a telephone pole. We had to climb it all the way up there, and then we were just harnessed to one other person, and we had to walk across it, and it was scary as fuck. We're 40 feet up in the air, and we're a bunch of kids, but they were teaching us how to get high on life. And that's what we were talking about. Why I came in here, because you were talking about, like, if it's not, Jason was talking about, if it's not ingested, then it's not chemically altering. Well, that's not necessarily true, because you can get high on life and have that same feeling without ingesting anything.
Oh no!
It's just,
I think what I was saying that if it's not ingested, it's not a drug. Is by the definition, it was saying it's a physiological change in you, like excitement, but it also states that it has to be ingested in that definition. I could pull it back up, but yeah,
well, that's where he was talking about sex, and you guys brought up, well, so the female gets, no, she's not addicted to the cum.
You're right.
She's addicted to the.
Right.
I mean, I'm not saying.
That's right.
But she's the only one that anything is never.
Right.
I think you're right.
I mean, that's like saying only a female can get. Yeah. Like.
Well, I mean,
no, good point. That's fair.
2022, so.
I mean, yeah, you're right.
It's
I want to shut up before I get canceled.
You know what? I
It's
bet
about
that's one
healthcare,
fetish
right?
that's not out there, you guys. Is like a sex
saying
while you're
sex
eating
is a
parts
drug
of
or
meat.
not a drug?
Wait, what is it? Sex while you're what?
eating
I'll
what?
tell you if it's out there.
Try not to interrupt, buddy. So I was saying sex while you're eating parts of my body. Like, I bet that's not a thing. That's not a fetish. That's probably the one fetish.
Oh, you mean cannibalism? Cannibalism?
Well, I mean, yeah, but while having sex, I mean, that cannibalism's a thing. Anyway, let's not.
Well, yeah, because a lot of cannibalism, a lot of people, they get a sexual rise from ingesting the person's flesh.
Oh, see, I didn't know that. Yeah, and you also
that,
get that
so it is
thing
it
your
is a
hands shake.
fetish.
Like if you eat too much human, there's a thing. Anyway, it's not
Human
good.
withdrawal?
Don't do it. Hey, I do not.
Healthcare.
We're gonna say right now. We're gonna say right now on the healthcare episode that the PITB crew does not condone eating other humans. Okay.
I mean, in certain ways.
I gotta go.
Whoa,
I can't be a part of this anymore. You're just ruining it, taking all the rules.
Right. Okay.
I'm getting out of here. I'm going to eat a finger.
I know, right? Fuck.
So, was there anything else?
I need an appendage.
Does anybody have any good story? Oh, I can tell you guys my story. Like, so I had surgery with the VA, and it took 3 surgeries, and they still did not do what they said they were going to do. And so this comes back to the bureaucracy, the red tape, the fact that we call it, oh, look, I don't have to pay for it, so it's good, right? Well, no. And back to what Doc is saying about shopping around and about people not being, or you have to care.
Doctor
and stuff.
shopping. Mm-hmm.
I can't doctor shop when my health care is quote free, right? I'm in the VA. I can't doctor shop. I can't ask for. They did change things a little bit for the veteran to make it where I can go to a local doctor's office if it's too far away to go to the VA.
Right.
Well, that still sort of limits me, But there's a lot of ups and downs with that. That's why I thought holistic medicine was really cool to look at. Maybe we should pull that back up, because I think that's the answer to all this, is that we take a more of a driving role in our own healthcare. Maybe we can't be considered the experts of healthcare, but maybe we should do a little bit more on our own.
We all should take care a little more of ourselves. I don't think any one of us do exactly what our doctors tell us to. So that's why when we talked about this before, it was like, what the doctors tell us to do. Well, are we taking care of ourselves by not listening and not finishing that antibiotics, or, because we feel better? It's like, could we be doing better also?
I agree.
help them help us?
That's exactly what I want to push because I don't want us to sit and just complain about them. That's why I said when I had my experience, there are bad parts of it because I didn't have choices in certain things, right? But to your point, yes, choosing to do more. Now, again, there's a difference. So healthcare is also, hey, I broke my arm, I have to go in and get it, casted, right? But that's not what we're talking about. I'm talking more about like in general health and wellness. And
we can talk about my situation. I mean, I have chronic pancreatitis. I was at the hospital last night. I try to take care of myself. I don't drink alcohol. I don't eat high fat foods. I take the medicine that'll help my pancreas work. But I can only do so much. But I learned that for many years I didn't understand the medication that was being given to me. I didn't understand how to take it or when to take it to make my pancreas to give it a break, because it's basically a pancreas in a bottle. It's supposed to work for the pancreas, whereas I had doctors explaining it to me that it causes the pancreas to work, and so it's two different things. The doctors didn't even understand the one medication, so it wasn't until I actually did more research on it and was okay. It doesn't activate the pancreas; it stops the pancreas from having to activate, which is what you want to do when you're in this situation. But this is 9 years I've been dealing with the same pancreatic issues, and they'll do a little surgery here, little surgery there, procedure here, but it keeps coming back. So
and they gave you the medicine just to take any as needed, or
so last night they wanted to admit me, but I was not ready for that. So I was like, no, let's not do that. So she did agree to just send me home on some pain medicine. So as long as I can keep liquids down and keep the pain controlled, as long as there's no fever or anything else that hits up, then I'm okay. But yeah, most of the time for pancreatitis, they would just admit you and give you IV fluids and pain meds to watch you. Now, I have also, so I've on the other side, I have 24 years clean off of illegal drugs and everything. So going into a hospital specifically for pain meds, it causes a lot of anxiety, because I'm going in and ask these people for, drugs. Here we're using the word drugs, and I'm clean, and they always look at you like you're an addict. So it puts us all in really interesting spots. So it makes it harder for us to take care of ourselves because we can't talk to the doctor the way we should be able to.
Right. And that's another thing, is that not having good communication between the so-called experts and ourselves. The doctor sometimes seems like almost like, the man behind the curtain, like they're almost unapproachable at times,
You
and I've worked in the hospital.
You get to talk to the nurse as much as you want, but you only get to see that doctor for a second.
Yep.
you better have everything you want to say,
have it written down. Yeah.
And that's part of the thing, is that you have to incentivize people to do these things. We can't force people to be doctors. Like, that's why in Canada, I've had a few Canadians, and we have some hanging out with us now, who brought up that, we have our healthcare is free, we can just pop in and out. Well, listen, I know that's not the case, because they actually introduced a separate system recently in Canada to where you can pay. If you have the money, you can skip the line, and it's a separate thing. Like I don't know if they call it a private system, but it's a
like
private
first class.
Yeah, basically, like, you can still, because that's how it works. I mean, it's a commodity. It's not a right. You can't force people to learn medicine just to take care of you. And that's why we kind of get that wrong. And I worked in the hospital for 5 years. I was looked at as a doctor. I'm not a medical professional. I worked in surgery. I worked in the surgical area. where we would reset and clean the ORs and stuff and help hold legs and help move dead bodies and things. And there were times when you would be standing in the hall and a new patient about to go into a surgical room, rolling down on a gurney or on a bed, and they're awake and they're looking at you, right? They're looking up at you, and they're about to go through something traumatic. And so you just, you hold their hand. It's going to be great. You're doing great. Everyone, you smile at them. You make sure they're, even though I'm just the guy that's about to clean up the mess, like, and I'm still wearing scrubs. And so they would look at you like you're a doctor. And then I moved to the post anesthesia care unit, which is where you wake up after surgery. And I was mistaken as the doctor many times there. And you wake up, and not only that, it's one big open room with a bunch of nurses, and I was like their chew toy, right? Wailing this and wailing that. I'm just helping them out everywhere, wiping butts and everything, like a CNA, and I'm not a CNA. So I thought it was kind of cool that I got to do all this hands-on since I was covered by a bunch of nurses. But anyway, the people would wake up and come to, and they will look at me, "Oh, doctor, thank you so much." And it's flattering, but it's like, no. And then the nurses in there, they would get mistaken to be the nurses that took care of them in the surgery, and they weren't there for that either. So the whole process, I got to see it all the way through. I mean, I was in security after that, and then I went to the supply chain where I would deliver, and I would build the supplies. I saw the whole thing, and I can tell you that every department has those curmudgeons that just shouldn't even be doing it anymore. But they also have good people that care, but those people get spread very thin. The people.
Well, we've had that on every show too, other shows too, when we were talking about the police and the fire safety, and that's at every job. Every single job has them people that still care. Then they have the ones that just don't. They're there for $1.
And some of that's being hated. Right. I mean, some of it is because of us being the customer or the patient.
What I watched,
having as much, there's a give and take.
What I watched them go through last night, they don't get paid enough. Right. I mean, in an 8-hour, the craziness.
You were probably understanding and nice to them, but they get so many people in there spitting at you, throwing chairs, all sorts of things. And then there's a whole aspect of the fact that they're taking care of people sometimes that don't know where they are, or they don't even know that they're doing what they're doing.
I watched instances of that all night last night, just because I was 8 hours just sitting there waiting for more results, more tests, stuff like that. And I just watched people come in and go out, and some people, like one guy just tore up one of the rooms because he wasn't getting attention. And it was like, dude, his wife he had been admitted already, and they were like, "No, you're leaving now. Call your wife." And I don't know. It was just, and then you have the homeless population, the addicts that are sitting in there, and it's how they're very nice to their face, but I'm watching them all say to the same person, "We'll be right with you. Give us, have patience." I've watched you tell her that for 5 hours, like, let her go, or, they got this girl a sandwich, it was like, at least tell her yes or no. Fuck, that was my thing is, she wanted to leave, and they're like, "We'll be right with you." You don't
Sometimes
do that for 5 hours.
Measures they can make too, like where they can just put you in a room that maybe they're not planning to get to you anytime soon, but hey, get you the next step in, And I saw in the ER at the hospital I worked at, a lot of nurses do their very best to like accommodate, because there's times when the ER is just slammed, but you're still going to be there for a few hours no matter what. I mean, that's why I didn't want to I don't want to batter and beat up the healthcare workers. We can complain about the system, but we really don't have any solutions for that. I mean, I have ideas, but I think just giving ourselves more perspective on everybody's, like Doc is just, he's got an incredible story, and it's like we could just talk about his all day. I mean, look at this. He says, "I'm bleeding like a stuck pig. I've been bleeding like a stuck pig for almost a week now. I know why. Just moved to the Redwood Forest and have not secured medical care. Thus, my records have not been sent here yet. So if I go to the ER, all they will know is that I'm slowly bleeding out. Therefore, if it is my responsibility to communicate with the doctor staff what the exact issue is, then they can have an AHA moment and treat me accordingly. I may go tomorrow or Monday. Should be fun. Yeah. So there you go. Like the records make it tough too when you move around and try to go to a different doctor. That's why you want to stay with the same one, and then it makes you feel so anxious when suddenly retire.
Yeah.
Right?
And then we have Kaiser. I don't know. Some people not in the country may not know what Kaiser is, but Kaiser's not everywhere. So if you are in the Kaiser system, it's great because everybody in the Kaiser system can look up your information like that. But the second you go to a different hospital or move to, say, the Redwoods and they don't have a Kaiser, you're on your own.
Yep.
There's no Kaiser doctors there. You have to start all over somewhere else. And it's a bitch. It's a bitch doing that.
Well, even touching base with the healthcare system, here in the States, we've been brainwashed for how long that we can't go to the doctors when we're sick. Oh, it's a cold. Oh, it's the flu. You still got to go to work. We can't take time off of work. You don't go to the doctors because, oh, God forbid, you need a doctor's excuse, and how much that costs just to get a doctor's excuse. And so we have learned to self-medicate ourselves and try to avoid the hospitals at all costs.
Or in my case, I wait till not too late. Obviously, I'm still here, but I wait till I'm in excruciating pain, and then I go. I know my body. I've been doing this for a long time, and probably because of that, do I just kind of brush it off more than I should? But yeah.
I'm the same way. But I mean, the workers, like I said, the nurses and everything, they're great because, like I said, I woke up in a hospital, and from what the police told my family, I went in there kicking and screaming and fighting security. But from what they tell me, I didn't. So I don't know. They took me right off out of restraints as soon as I woke up. Put me in a room where I came in unconscious evidently.
Yeah.
But see, that's an episode. But what do you think you could have done before that? You already talked about what you like, the steps leading up to that had made that happen. And so in the future, you can try to use that as a lesson, right?
I had the weird thing is I had this appointment for my aftercare already set up before I went in. Like it was an appointment that I had already made previous, like a few weeks ago. I was just waiting.
I had missed part of your story. So you had relapsed, and that's what caused this, right?
No, I not
or had a drink. You were
no, I didn't. I took too many. I took too many Zoloft. I was like, "F it, Zoloft would work." It was
he forgot his pills.
Those will put you in a dark place.
Yeah,
I was off of my Zoloft for like probably about 2 months, almost 3. But I was doing fine. But then, like, I was just stressing out, so I just instead of going back on them slowly, I just went right to a couple 100 milligrams. You know what I mean? Right off the bat.
Yeah. And that goes back to us taking care of us. And do we listen to the healthcare? We expect them to explain things and tell us how it is. Well, they do. You know what I mean? Or not always, but when they do, we're like, we'll do it my way. Like I know better. It just.
The other medicine I'm on, I'm allowed to take like that, and that was something that I was never told not.
Because there's some acute medication. Yeah, some medications are for immediate release.
Yeah, and a lot of
Zoloft
things
needs to build up in your system.
Right, like my inhaler, I wouldn't just double it if I had missed because I know that can be too much. But let's talk about something positive that happened. So through COVID, which all sucked. Now, a lot of our healthcare providers do all sorts of more virtual stuff, which if they say that's what you have to do, that sucks. But if you have these options now that you didn't have before, I think that's a good thing. There's more like call lines and like I don't know how to put it, but just phone call
More
lines that you
opportunities to communicate.
talk to
Like,
nurses and ask,
yeah.
get more questions and things and find out what's going on. At the same time, though, I wish, sometimes they kind of slough it off like, hey, I think I have COVID, I actually called once and they were saying they weren't testing. This was when it first started happening. Like, we're not testing unless you've been around someone with it. I'm like, how am I going to know that?
Well, it's not even COVID anymore. Yeah, it's not even COVID anymore why they're doing it. It's they realize they can't.
Right.
I mean, the COVID isn't going rampant right now where I'm at, and the specialists that called me today, they're setting up a Zoom meeting, and I'm like, but I need you to be looking in my belly, not through my phone.
Right.
That's not how a GI works, Yeah, and I'm like, how does
equipment a day in advance? You stick it
right?
down
Do I
your
just
throat.
swallow the pill? Do we have that technology yet? Or I'd be
Wouldn't that
loving
be
it.
great?
Yeah.
My psychotic break started about the time I got COVID also, because I got COVID at the same time that I finished all my, I did it with a doctor coming off all my medicine.
Yeah.
Right? And I did it how I was supposed to do. And I thought it was good, I was going to be like never not have any effects, but there are side effects coming off.
So
evidently.
Yeah.
Before I answer Daniel's question, I wanted to say hi to Jimmy Mead. What's up, Jimmy Mead? How you doing?
What's up?
Hi, Jimmy Mead.
Right.
What do you got? A twisted tea? Mike's Hard Lemonade there? What are you drinking?
That's just my cup.
Oh,
I've got
okay.
tea in it though, Prairie Farms tea.
Oh, there you go.
I have tea.
So Daniel, I know I see the LOL here, but I did have this brings up a good question. Insurance is not always easy for people to get. What you can, however, do though, is you can look for what are they called? There's a name for it. They're like a group plan that you can get. You go in. It's like a collective plan. It's not through your company. There's a word for it.
Like HM or
No, it's a medical cooperative.
Yeah, but there's
a lot of do this.
You can get into community groups of people where they collectively buy an insurance plan like a company would, so that you can still get it cheaper, because otherwise by yourself it's almost it's skyrocketed. Huh. There's a word for it. I can't remember though. I'll remember it later.
I don't know what it's called. But I want to do this.
You can do that.
You're like, this is a community. Can we start it now?
Good idea. You all down?
Yeah.
Or what?
Let me look into it.
Is
it just called a co-op?
Yeah, it's a cooperative. A lot of religions do this, or churches, where all their members pool all their money together, like the Mennonites do. They pool all their money together. If somebody needs,
I just watched a documentary on them.
They draw the money out of that fund.
Companies. Find a cooperative insurance agent.
A collaboration, Charlene says.
Co-ops.
Co-op.
Yep. Cooperative.
It's where.
Sorry, go ahead.
No, go ahead. Read it.
Read this. Local agents help you stay covered. We believe that choosing to work with a local agent. It's just sales pitchy. So you can find. Wow, New Hampshire, Vermont, probably one in every state, I'm guessing. Is there a search button? Zip code.
I'm thinking not California. But
you guys get to see my zip code.
What?
Oh, they got the stuff. It's private organizations that do it for themselves. No insurance companies even involved.
That's what I was thinking.
Yeah.
So it's just a pool of money for whenever the community needs it.
Right.
Well, hell, we do that on the family page.
Insurance co-ops assist
Everybody
those who buy and receive coverage. Give me stars below, and we'll work on getting it.
Yeah.
Thanks.
That'll
Charlene.
be for healthcare.
50 stars today. Appreciate it. Who bought? Well, hold on.
Cannabis is healthcare.
Right.
Absolutely.
Those who buy and receive coverage, not external investors. Oh,
Well, and I hate to jump out of here, buddy, but I got to take off. I got another show. I got two more shows I got to get to tonight. So
all your shows, you guys.
Everybody else, have a great
Sorry,
night,
I was so
everybody.
late to the show, but I didn't get a notification until like 30 seconds before I popped in.
You're not late. You're fine. But yeah, we got Jason and Melanie from the 42710 family. Everybody, go check them out.
Have a great
Thank you,
night,
guys.
everybody. We'll see you guys
Good
later.
night.
Nice seeing you. Nice chatting. Thanks for having me.
Thanks, Mel.
Bye. Red button. The red.
And again, if anybody wants to come up and share an experience with with their personal healthcare journey, I always appreciate that. I mean, right now we're looking into where you can get healthcare, but to me, it's they're different things. You know, like we've been talking about this whole time.
Yeah.
Like I really want to look more into being healthier, and like Melanie says, we all seem to know that we're not doing the best we could with our own health. You know, and
Oh,
how.
sure.
And how can we be so angry with our healthcare providers if they're doing this for a whole bunch of people and we can't even do it for one, you know? And
they're
so,
dealing with it after we've let it go.
right.
Like,
They're playing patch, patch you
My
up.
they're like the mechanic that's changing your oil after 30,000 miles.
My issue with healthcare really doesn't really have anything to do with the provider per se. It has to do with the whole system.
The bureaucratic red tape and all that.
The pharmaceutical system. You know, the fact that we've got people out here that pay $700, $800, $900 a month for their insulin, and you can go to Canada and get it for $50.
Yeah.
Same insulin from same manufacturer.
Did you guys? Okay. Did you guys see the insulin the shit that happened on Twitter? So because you guys may have seen that Elon Musk bought Twitter, and so it's sort of become relevant again. It's kind of getting exciting over there a little bit. I never really used it much before, but now we're live on Twitter right now, actually. But what's funny is that he made the verification, the blue check thing. He made it only cost $8. Like there's no other barrier. You just pay $8 a month, and you can be verified. Wow. And so what they did, and they stopped it now. But what people did all over the freaking planet is they started impersonating all sorts of other people, like a pharmaceutical company. They impersonated this guy that was like the CEO of a pharmaceutical company. I forget his name, but they said insulin is now free. And then their stocks tanked. Like I don't know where it is now, but that company, whatever that pharmaceutical company was, like their shit just plummeted.
Wow.
And there was a whole bunch of other incidences like that, but that was just relevant to this conversation. But yeah,
I wish I would have bought at the bottom.
You know, right? It's a shame. Here's another whole big flaw in the whole system. It's a shame that a private individual cannot go to a doctor or a hospital and get charged the same amount that the insurance company is charged.
Yeah, and that's a big part. And I don't know why I'm making
you can't even go to a hospital and get a price up front.
No, and that's what it's similar to like going to college. You have to, like, all these banks and everything are involved. It makes it so expensive that you have to get a loan. And then it's like it's all like in it. I know that's a off-topic analogy, but you're 100% right. If they could start like our our veterinarians, our dogs and cats get better in healthcare than we do because we go in and we just pay the price what it costs.
Yeah.
Right.
There's nobody in between there taking a cut, and so
and nobody deciding whether or not if you've got insurance. You've got to basically ask permission to get a procedure done.
Yeah.
Right.
Well, I mean, you think of like just something as simple as a kidney stone. If you go in with a kidney stone, I always say this, with insurance, they'll take care of you. They'll do whatever you need to do to get that kidney stone pain-free out of your body. Without insurance, they say the exact same thing every time. That if it was just a little bigger, we would be able to do surgery or whatever and get it. It's the exact same story every time. They blow smoke up your ass because you don't got the fucking money to pay them.
Right.
And then
that
doctor's time is way more valuable in the next room with the guy that got insurance.
Should be free. Most definitely. There's no reason it should not be free.
How can it be free though? You mean through taxes?
Yes, where
Right, okay.
individuals do not have to pay for health care.
Sure.
Yeah, but then how?
Basic health care.
Right, and I'm all
Now, when
for
it comes
thinking about
to
that.
cosmetic
Yeah,
or
but if
whatever,
you would
you're
do
on your
something,
own.
but if you would do something through taxes, the taxes would go, because look at the doctor's wages. You would have to lower the doctor's wages, and then
Well,
with
you're under
lowering
the
the
assumption
wages,
that all of our taxes are allocated to where they should be allocated in the first
well,
place.
no, but either way,
money.
they're going to use it. But either way, they're going to use it as a way to hike up taxes.
Well, of course, they're
Yeah,
bureaucrats.
then you end up with a
But we need to strive to get
51
a
to
better
55% tax rate.
I mean, dude. To be honest, because of my mental health condition, I'm covered by the state, and I get pretty decent coverage myself.
Well, I mean, yeah, if you're
Coverage,
doing
yes.
like, if you're covering less than 1% of the population, sure. But if you're covering everybody in the country, and these doctors are getting wages of over 6 figures a year, that means you have to cover all these doctors' wages at that point. You also have to cover running the hospital, the medicine, the pharmaceuticals, all that stuff. And where does that money come from? That money comes from us.
To be fair,
or you have to
Jimmy's
lower the
point,
wages of the doctors,
the
and
insurance
then
companies would get less, right?
Well, sure.
They should get a lot less. That wouldn't wouldn't make up for any bureaucratic corruption that like raises the prices, but it would offset some of that cost. And I think if we were to actually fix our tax system, then maybe that would work. To Jimmy's point, it's not being allocated right now. But if I don't know if you guys remember Herman Cain died from COVID. God rest his soul. He had this interesting idea of just an overall percentage across the board. So no matter what you make, you're paying a percent, like the same percent. Now it doesn't work that way now. If you make more,
what is
your
that
percent goes up.
That's
that's basically
right.
That's basically how it works in Canada.
Yeah.
Your health care comes out of your income tax.
Right. But does everybody pay the same amount of tax? That's the thing, is that you're incentivized to make.
Yeah. Can I ask you, what is your tax? What is your tax rate?
Mine?
No, up in Canada.
No,
up in Canada? I don't know. I'm not Canadian.
I thought you were saying you were up in Canada.
Up there, their taxes are roughly 50% of their income.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Where down here, the average person is paying like lower to middle
you're
end.
not paying. The lowest end, they pay negative taxes.
Negative tax. The middle class is paying like around 11%, maybe.
Like,
you know what I mean?
It's like 24 to 26% the middle class.
Once you get up into the higher numbers, sure, but we're not getting anywhere close to 50%.
If you're making $25,000 a year, you're giving 24.3% of your taxes away, or money away in taxes.
If it was just
no, because you're getting half of that back usually. So you're actually only equivalent. It only ends up being around 11% for middle class.
Oh, right. If you take the refund into consideration, refund at the end of the year.
Yeah, that's what they take out of your check. They take the 22% out of your check, but you only actually end up paying about 11%. But still, you don't get anywhere close to 50% unless you live in a place like California and you're making 7 figures a year.
Right.
Richard has a good point here. Richard says, look up Made Canada. It's scary. National government overreach in healthcare up in Canada. Free is not always good. Now, I totally agree. Like, once you have it, if you have it, quote,
there's all kinds of articles like that, but I know a lot of Canadians, and they don't bitch about their health care.
Depends on what province you're in. I've heard from some of them that if you're in this one or that one, it's more of like the ghetto or more of like the lower class area. So I'm sure it has to do with class, just like everything else. Access to anything has to do with class. But I think at the same time, if we outsource our healthcare to the government rather than our little struggle between insurance companies and doctors and stuff, if we outsource it then nationally, then we definitely lose all control. Like right now, at least, yes, maybe if we don't like our system, We can try to go through a different insurance company. We can try to go through a co-op. There are options that I think a lot of people just don't want to go spend the time to go through. And I'm one of those. I did actually, when I worked at the hospital, I had good insurance, and I paid for the insurance at the hospital, even though I'm a veteran and I can get it for free, because I know how much better it was to do it, because I've seen both. And the VA system has been spotlighted. You guys have probably seen some articles in the last few years where crazy shit happened with the VA, and like a bunch of malfeasance and malpractice. Like that one, there was a man, I think it was like 2 weeks that he died in a shower, and nobody had found him, and like crazy stuff that was all happening in the VA system. And this might have been a couple of years now, but just stuff that they found out was just really bad. And they've been trying to fix it because of their quote PR, issues. What's up, Dale? Right. Dale, 50 stars. Thank you, Dale. Appreciate it. Made 100 stars tonight, you guys. Hell yeah. Let's see.
I thought you got 350
for a second.
Oh, I can't see it, actually. You might see it. What's that, Jim?
Did I disappear from the screen for a second?
I didn't notice. I'm looking everywhere else. Dale, do you want to come up and tell us about the Canadian healthcare system? We want to we're kind of curious now. I think you're the only one.
Good call.
That would have.
That's who just called me.
Dale?
Yeah, he was.
Hey, I gotta take a call here, guys.
Okay, Jimmy. Thanks for coming up, man.
All right, man.
Hey, I'll talk to you. I don't know. What are you doing this weekend? Well, let me know.
Tomorrow's my kid's birthday. Not really nothing, man.
I got to find somewhere interesting to go review. Maybe go do like, I need to wait till I get paid again. I want to go check out that place where you throw axes. It's a restaurant.
Oh yeah, I haven't been there yet.
I haven't been there yet. It'd be kind of cool to go check that out. But anyway, I'll talk to you soon, Jimmy. Thanks a lot, man.
All right, later, man.
Dale.
It's his son's birthday.
That's what he said. Yep.
Tell your son happy birthday, bro.
I'm not sure if he's going to see it now. What's up, Dale?
Not too much, man. Not too much.
What's no sound, Daniel? You can hear me?
Can you hear me now?
I can hear you, Dale. Yeah. MAID is happening on people with disabilities and mental health. Oh, so that's the MAID is the name of like a, I don't know, investigation or what? Like what do you call it? Documentary. So Dale, he was talking about Canada and how some things aren't always what they're, cracked up to be on the free system. And it's not free. I don't know why we call it free, but it's a national system. Instead, we should call it that, right? It's national system.
Yeah. It depends upon the healthcare too, right? Specialized.
Mm-hmm. Can you choose where you get healthcare at?
Yeah. You can choose.
Now, have you heard of the system that they added in Canada where you can pay? It's like a separate, I don't know if it's private system, but they added a ability for people that have the means to be able to pay and get seen faster.
My last 3 back operations were done in a private hospital.
They're still private hospitals. Okay.
The bill was shit. I'm trying to remember. I do believe it was right around 60 grand. All paid for me.
Oh, I see what he's saying. Have you heard of this?
Yes,
Assisted suicide.
Yeah.
Assisted suicide is what he's been trying to talk to me about. This MAID in Canada.
Yeah, and from what I understand now, you can be recommended from your doctor. Did
you see? I forget where it was, in like Switzerland or something like that, or Sweden maybe. They just opened suicide booths.
It's crazy.
That's crazy.
Yeah.
It's an easy win for any government though, because that gives a release valve for the people who are less easy to handle and that they just want to push over that edge and get out of their way, get out of their face. It's an easy, I think, in my perspective, from a not necessarily corrupt government, but more like a just numbers game.
Yeah, we don't got to take care of you anymore.
Yes, and that's I think that's what they would. I don't see any other benefit to that. You think people would vote for that? We want it. We want our suicide booth. Damn it! Why isn't it here yet? Like,
Yeah.
that's messed up. Now, hold on though. To be devil's advocate, MAID being that I don't know much about it, that could assisted suicide. That's a tough topic
I think
actually, because
in
some
very
cases
slim
might be-
circumstances.
yes, very yes. We
Very
don't,
rare.
I don't even know if we want to try to outline those circumstances, but there are some really rare ones that. But if you're religious at all, you would believe that's going to be a sin. So those were probably not the situation. But there are some that are like, I don't know. I don't know. Maybe I can't think of any at the moment. It's probably too
Terminal situations. That's
Yeah.
I think that would be the outline right there.
Yeah,
But-
but as soon as you
If
do
you're
that,
terminal.
eventually it's going to be allowed for depression. It's going to happen. And
slippery
that's-
slope for sure.
Something. And everybody always says, no, that won't happen. They won't let it get that far, but they do, and they will.
And here's the thing too. When I said my last operations, they were in a private hospital. It was the difference of waiting a year for the operation or waiting 30 days.
Yeah. No,
So
I know that's what's going on bigger scale things. Somebody, I don't know who it was. Was that you, Dale? That was like, well, you just if you have something, you go in the emergency room and you can get seen. Somebody made it sound like it was just such a simple piece of cake. And I was like, no, I know there's for a fact there's certain
Wasn't
things,
me.
there's surgeries and there's procedures that you can't just
Yeah.
certain things you can't even get done up there that you would have to fly to America or somewhere else. So yeah, it's I hate saying that. I'm sorry, Dale. When I say
Yeah, no,
America, because you're American too. You're North American just like I am. Any from Brazil, they're American too. South American.
the only
I
reason
get
that
Dustin
any,
going on that one every time, man. He's like, no, I'm not American. Go ahead.
but the only reason that people would have to fly to the U.S. for any kind of operation, it'd have to be an absolute specialty.
Yeah,
Otherwise, they get it
cancer
done here,
and other
right?
things. Sure.
Because you see, here's the thing that Americans don't know, but most of your doctors come from Canada because you guys pay more. Oh,
Right. No, and I agree. It
Oh,
attracts people from all over the world. Sarah says they offer assisted suicide in several states. You don't even have to have a doctor recommendation, just a terminal illness. Okay. I did not know that.
That's sad. I don't know how to feel when it comes to something like that, because you don't want your loved one to pass on, but yet you don't want them to suffer.
But
What do you do?
For my
You know
lifetime,
what you do?
it's allowed for
Mike,
depression.
you're cutting out, buddy. Like you're sounding. Did you?
Here's the thing. What you do is you roll them a big joint and let them smoke it.
Yeah, I
That's what
usually
you-
hear you a lot better when you're over on the fire in the hole. I'm not sure what's going on. Does he
It
sound
sounds like
weird to
in
you guys?
in water.
Yeah, like you're in a fish tank.
I don't know, man.
There
That's
you
better.
go. You're better.
Thanks, Mike.
I don't know.
You got it. All right,
So-
guys. Well, go ahead, Dale.
Sorry, man. There's a reason why I'm on Are You Smarter Than a Stoner? Because I lost track of what the fuck I was saying.
It's okay. I think we've kind of we're basically winding down. I appreciate like we had a hell of a lot of interaction early on, and I couldn't keep track.
suicide.
Yeah, we're still talking about that, but I mean, it's kind of a downer, isn't it? Can't we? Let's end this on a high note, literally. So I'll have a little toke, and I tell you what, it was a good episode. It definitely opened my eyes on some things, and I want to look more into things like essential oils and cannabis, medicinal cannabis uses, not just ways to ingest it. Yeah, go ahead.
I'll tell you about my health care.
Let's hear
I
it.
never
Yeah.
really took care of my like food and all that crazy shit. But we were poor growing up. 5 kids, single mom, worked 2 jobs. Like we didn't have insurance. We didn't have none of that shit. She was too busy to take us to the hospital anyway. So if we got sick or anything, we were just sick. You know what I mean? Like we didn't go to the hospital, nothing like that. We let our immune systems build up, and I feel like the way that we lived, like our immune system, my immune system's stronger than most of these fucking people around me. Like that's why fucking COVID ain't hitting me none. But
Me neither.
like, I remember when I was young, I went to the hospital for a broken finger. Broke my fingers. It was snapped sideways. They fucking. I always had sympathy for my mom, like for the financial end of things, ever since I could remember. But so the doctor came in, knew I didn't have insurance or nothing, didn't give me any medicine or anything, popped my finger back in place, put a fucking what looked like a popsicle stick on it, and wrapped it up and sent me home. In the car, I was like, is that all that was? Like, is that how you fix that? Mom was like, I guess. I broke my fingers. I think I broke all my fingers in my life. I was a reckless, wild fucking kid.
I've never broken a finger.
Every time after that, I snapped it back in place myself. Like that's self-care.
So, but to your point about immune systems, though, man, that's such a good point, because I think we are we're becoming too germ free. I think we need to go the other way. We need to start having like lotions like germ lotions and stuff that are like designer lotions that you're like putting on like good germs.
Yeah, I remember when we were kids, we'd play at the fucking park and dig in the sandbox and make mud pies in the rain and shit. Those kids don't do that no more.
You gotta let the kids outside, cut the fucking cords on the video games, put them outside with their dinky cars, and have them eat dirt.
Have them eat dirt. Well, listen, I get that sentiment, but at the same time, I see people nowadays who may have been eating too much dirt that might have had like lead paint in it or something. And there's a happy medium. Look, I hated all the COVID restrictions, but I think there were some things that came out of COVID that might have been good, like maybe do a little more fist bumping rather than, come up and hug me and give me a cough in my
17
face.
handshakes.
Or rubbing hands and stuff. Like, like little things like that, wash your hands a little more often, don't just go digging in the community bowl of, olives on Thanksgiving or whatever. Like there's some things that I think we can do, but at the same time, immunity. There was this story of this like 80-something-year-old farmer. I think it was a farmer. He was a farmer. Every day he would come out and like he bends down and drinks out of the same trough as I think it was as the cows did or the pigs. Drinks a little bit out of that same trough, and he's like, "Yep, I've never been sick a day in my life." Like the dude's like got fucking iron immune system, because of that. But man, woof, But I think we need to do better with there are some cool things out now, like pills or like powders that you can add into a drink that adds like all your daily vitamins or whatever, your greens or your vegetables. There's some cool stuff like that. That shit is expensive. So maybe if we can start working on making some of this stuff cheaper to be healthy, health food is expensive as hell.
Well, let me ask you this question. In Japan, they have a soup with a little piece of shit in the middle of it.
Is that the poo-poo platter?
Hang on.
Cream of Saigon guy?
Thailand, hang on. I'm bringing it up right now on my phone so that
I gotta look at this on the big screen here. I'm gonna pull it up on the
Son
big
of a
screen.
Poop soup.
Oh, it's not good, man. It's not good.
On a bowl of poop
my
soup.
God. Oh my
Yeah,
God.
look up poop
In Japan?
soup.
He says Japan or
Thailand.
China?
Thailand, I think it is. Yeah, Thailand.
Can't you
But
make
it's
this
just put in
ridiculous?
poop soup. POOP soup.
Poop
That's how
coffee,
I
poop
spell-
soup.
That's
Oh
how
my
I spell
God. There's
it.
poop coffee? No, thank you.
But you talk about bacteria.
Ah.
The deadliest
Oh,
food in Asia.
God,
Why do they eat
guys.
the deadliest foods over there? Like why? Like half of their food can kill you.
But
Like,
you speak of bacteria and that. Now, if you don't get a full injection of the bacteria you need from a bowl of scrumptious poop, good chew and peanuts
Not
too,
ending
is
right?
it? Hold on. Is it? We need to learn more about this.
No, we
Is
don't. We want to end the show on a high note. I guess it's a funny note, but it's kind of a.
I just need to know what kind of poop it is.
And
Gonna end this
if you're
note.
vegan, it comes with corn.
We're gonna end this on a funny note, guys.
I don't want to know.
All right, I'll look it up on my own time.
What do you want to? Do you want to watch the video? We
No,
can't watch
no.
the video.
I just wanted to know if it's like an animal or like,
Oh yeah.
or if they went and
Like
got it from a
details
neighbor.
about it.
Like,
They eat it.
Poop soup in Thailand. It's buffalo shit. Soup.
Buffalo shit
Buffalo
juice.
shit
Oh my god!
It doesn't matter. It's still shit.
You wanted to know more about it. Oh my god, bro. Oh, the deadliest food
Oh,
in Japan
buffalo
and Asia.
juice.
Raw pig's blood soup. Hot
Now let's-
spicy spleen soup. Hot spicy spleen soup, everybody.
Yeah.
Like
Oh,
how
man.
often would you think that's like one of your weekly dinner plans? Like let's see, well, we're gonna do the poop soup again for Thursday? Okay. Holy shit, literally. Fucking
Oh, fuck, that's insane.
Yeah, that's okay. We don't need to look into that anymore. But yeah, deadly foods, man. Oof.
Yeah.
That is such a thing too. Like nutrition is different than just sustenance. Like I can get calories out of, you could eat bread every day and only eat bread, but eventually you would be very unhealthy. I don't know if you would die.
Yeah.
Maybe, might die. But the point is, like, there are things that we can eat that give us calories, but not give us nutrition. Ice cream, like, whatever, candy and stuff. It's like, there's not much nutrition. What's up, Elisa? What's up, Maui? Maui, where you been? Been working? Maui, come up and tell us about your.
That cannibalism, because then what are the nutrient values?
Listen, you're all muffled again, Mike. I'm glad, because we don't want to go from poop soup back to cannibalism. Stay on like the holistic. Let's move forward with the holistic plan. Okay, look, Ashley, you're jumping on the bandwagon too. I don't want to see this talking about having a cow pee in their culture, in their cure to everything. Wonder why they do that. If they hear of this poop soup. Oh my god, no thanks. Wow, you guys.
This show really started to stink.
Yeah, you guys, we ended this on a shitty note like this. I don't know. We might not have to.
It really went to shit.
Well, it did bring people back though. Like
Right.
we were down to like 6 or 7, and we're back up to 12 after talking about poop soup. You guys, thanks a lot about that. It's
Hashtag poop soup, everybody.
I want to see in the comments, you guys. So let's talk. I don't know what next week's topic is going to be, but it should be. We got to find something better than poop soup.
Yeah. Oh man.
Oh my god, everybody's doing it. Jeez.
Yeah. What do you do? What do you do?
Oh,
man.
shit.
Everyone, do you guys want me to pull it back up? No.
Do you
No,
take
but no,
audience suggestions for next week's topic?
I do. I've been saying that, but no one does it, so I just, it's okay. It's ultimately up to me. Huh?
But here's something, Waylon. What would be
Fishbowl
the
guy.
bacteria count on buffalo juice? Buffalo shit
Oh
juice.
my god.
It's not about a count of bacteria. It's about the type. And that's when Valerie said earlier, probacteria or probiotics. I'm sorry. Probiotics is a big thing that I think
I'm all
people
pro
are starting
that.
to learn.
No,
And there's
I'm all
also
pro
prebiotics. Have you heard of prebiotics?
Yeah.
These are all, and they have them in gummy form, but they're also foods that do this, and foods that promote testosterone, and foods that promote. Why is that funny? I'm saying it
That's
because
laughing at that comment.
dose poop soup make you poop soup.
Oh,
It's a good thought. It's a
that
good
sounds
thought,
like a
Joe.
shitty
Thank you.
situation.
I didn't mean to
Shit,
interrupt
Joe,
you with
what-
my abrupt laugh.
Well, I don't even know what I was saying. It's okay though. No, I appreciate this conversation tonight because I constantly want to take a more of a role in my own health. I'm not so great at it. I have been staying slim, but that's because I don't eat breakfast anymore. And I was going to say this earlier, way earlier. I was like, I think we need to have more classes on propaganda and getting people to understand it more because there's so many people that just get taken by almost every pitch that gets thrown in their face. And one of those things is food that we eat, the commercials we see all the time, and the fact that breakfast is the most important meal of the day. No, it's not. And they actually did studies on it. I could pull it up. They studied. They did a group that had the big breakfast, all the fixins, and then a group that had like a small breakfast, and then a group that had zero breakfast. And then they did testing and stuff on these people. There was no change. There was no difference cognitively. They say lunch is really where it's at, like when you need to, but you're breaking your fast, so it doesn't have to be at like 7 o'clock in the morning. Like I've been skipping breakfast and I feel great. I'll drink water and stuff until lunch. And I don't know if anybody watches Joe Rogan. I saw this episode a while back, years ago, I think, where they were talking about how there's some sort of a chemical or a reaction that happens in your body when you start to be hungry. When you start to feel hunger, there's this like starvation mechanism happening in your body that actually starts to help elongate your lifespan. Pretty trippy, but it's like that's why people do intermittent fasting and stuff like that.
Well, then I must be really healthy because I only eat.
I didn't say healthy.
What's that?
I only eat once a day too, but I eat a lot.
Right, but that you have to be careful because you could like burst a gut doing that, but
Yeah.
get some sepsis going on. Then you make your own poop soup. Can't get away from the topic.
Full circle.
What you fuel your body with determines. Yeah, but that's the other thing is like if they didn't make shit taste so good,
But
McDonald's has some things that has flavor to it, and that's what people want to come back for. But it's also cheap. That's the other problem is that we make healthy food so expensive,
Yeah,
and
but
it takes longer.
But
If I want a juicy steak, it's going to take longer to deal with and prepare and stuff than it is for me to go grab a fast food burger or something. And I don't do that really as much as every so often, maybe I'll get like a Taco Bell or something. And that's the thing is like those of us who grew up on that stuff, it's nostalgic, it's easy, it's fast, it's cheap. All those things combined make you every now and then you're like, oh, maybe I'll just hop on through the drive-through on my way home.
It's not even really cheap anymore, though. I mean, the only
you're right.
thing you really get from it is that it's fast.
And Ashley, we talked about this earlier, the sugar addiction. It's the most addictive substance on the planet, you guys.
Yeah.
And I think it's more addictive than any drug or anything. And that's because, yes, there are drugs that you can take that you can get addicted to instantly. But the percentage of people on the planet that would say no to that drug is much higher than who say no to sugar. That was my point. I think maybe it was a different live I was talking about it, but yeah, I wish we didn't put sugar in everything. We're putting sugar in things that we don't even think about having sugar in it. You know, like spaghetti and like weird stuff that's like, oh, you don't know that we throw sugar in this? Like, fuck, I didn't know that.
Well, sugar in spaghetti is usually to kill the acid, so it doesn't fuck up your stomach.
But yeah, I agree with what you're saying, Maui, because this is again propaganda on ways to get us to eat their garbage, meaning like the lowest end of quality of food, like the same feed that we feed cattle and shit. You know, wheat. They want us to eat wheat and soy like all day.
Well, I mean, look at what is it? Margarine. That was invented as a fattening agent for chickens, and it ended up killing all the chickens. So they were like, "What do we do with all this fucking oil that we just made?" And they're like, "Fuck it, let's feed it to humans."
Sounds like Viagra.
Like, it
It's
killed
like
the
it's
chickens.
similar.
Let's give it to the people.
Right. Similar, yeah. Well, and that's why I started going back to eating with real butter, like sticks of butter that you buy instead of the
buckets.
Yeah, the buckets that are like, it's not butter, it's like vegetable.
I can't believe it's not bullshit.
Yeah, yeah. So and yeah, that stuff I grew up on, but then it's like, wait a minute, butter's more expensive, but I'm trying to go that way, you know. But I also want to grow enough, like Ashley she grows enough veggies on her grow towers that she can just have a whole salad right there that she chops off right then and there. It's all fresh, and that's my goal. Yeah.
You're gonna have indoor motherfucking, and you're gonna have your own milker, and you're gonna make your own motherfucking butter.
I want to do chickens and goats. Cows going to be too. I feel like that's. I don't know. A cow feels like too much for me, but a chicken and a couple chickens and some goats, I think I could do one day. And doing those indoors would be kind of hard. I think what I want a Morton building, and I want to have like a garage door to where it's like an indoor outdoor livestock area for the winter time, and then have really good ventilation, because that chicken shit, boy, that's probably as bad as your buffalo soup stew or whatever.
Technology always.
Thanks, man.
Oh shit!
Oh, I was blocking it out. Thanks.
Blocking what out?
That shit soup.
Oh yeah, you almost had it. You almost had it gone. Well, nope. I think we're still going to be ending on a shitty note, but yeah, it's been fun, guys. Appreciate it. What do you guys think, guys? We got 8 people hanging out, plus us up here on the screen. What should we tackle? It's November. It'll be November next week. Still, should we tackle Thanksgiving? Like, what's your
next
experience?
week is Thanksgiving, isn't it?
Oh, it is on a Thursday too. We might have to skip next week.
Yeah. You know something? You guys are late. You're late. Your Thanksgiving is late. We already had ours, man. It's already said and done.
Way early.
Everything.
Yeah, y'all already had your Thanksgiving.
Did Trudeau was Trudeau on the the head of a like a float going down the street, you know, and like do they reenact the burning of the White House on Thanksgiving? Okay.
No.
I'm kidding. Yeah, good times though. I bet they all had a good time back then. So what's your Thanksgiving then? I don't get it. Is it still about
Same
like
as yours, just
coming together and breaking bread? Okay.
Yeah, same.
Sounds good. So yeah, I don't think we can do it then if it's Thursday. I mean, I'll probably be busy and it'll just be too much work to get everybody in on that day. Maybe I might if I'm
I'll probably be available to check in.
Well, Fishbowl guy, we have to get you straightened out for next week. Maybe come in early because it just sounds like you're in a fishbowl still, and I don't know why that's different. Maybe, and it wasn't like that before. I don't know. Maybe you have an update or something.
Don't know.
No big deal, Mike. I appreciate you stopping by, man. You guys, I appreciate everybody's opinion and everybody's point of view, and that's what the show is all about. The show's not a show without everybody else, and especially people in the comments giving your points of view. I appreciate that, you guys. And that's I think people are starting to understand what my vision is for the show. It's about, the topic being something that is generally connected to most people. Like almost everybody has a say in every topic. Even when I did PTSD for first responders and military, almost everyone has a former military in their family, or someone who's been a first responder in some way, a paramedic, a police officer, firefighter. Like it's a big enough, broad enough topic that almost everybody has had a connection to. So just think about that, guys. When you think about any suggestions for me, send me a message. If you're watching this video after we're live, guys, definitely make a comment. I will see the comment on the topic, and I'll respond. And if you think about any topic ideas, definitely send it my way. And also check out Fire in the Hole, you guys. They're killing it over there. They're making they're making more and more shows too, and I love that. I want to do more of that too. So check them out. They do. What is there anything official I can say? Like just the Are You Smarter Than a Stoner right now?
Yeah. Are You Smarter Than a Stoner and Contact High? But
what's
we got to get that. That's
thing.
Pretty much interviews with different streamers and different, like every other week. It's supposed to be every other week we interview a streamer. Every other week we interview a viewer. Like get to know the crowd, get to know the community.
Interesting.
But it's kind of hard getting the scheduling down right now. But once we do, yeah, I'd like to get you on there too.
Yeah, cool. I thought maybe you were taking a break from it or something. Did you do anybody on last Saturday? It's on Saturdays or?
Yeah, it's supposed to be on Saturdays. Now, last Saturday we didn't. This Saturday we're gonna get back to it though. Dale's
Ricky,
gonna be.
what happened to Ricky? He said he was coming tonight, but is he all right? Everything okay? Not sure. Okay, that's a legitimate response. Like he had commented on the post and was like, "Yeah, I can't wait" or something like that. Like, okay,
yeah,
but yeah, no. Hopefully he's all right, and hopefully he gets back to that because I think it's a good idea to do interviews. I want to do my own interview show too, but I guess everybody can do their own because there's a ton of those out there. So it's all about your own perspective. And
I always say the internet's big enough for all of us. If somebody else is doing something, don't think, "Oh, now I'm not going to do it."
Sure,
the internet's big enough for all of us. Like.
I try to think uniqueness as well when I come up with something. Like obviously, like my review show isn't. I think this show is unique.
It's gonna be unique in your own way, either way.
Sure. Your own impression. What's that mess?
I said I like your show here. It really it's one of the ones I look forward to weekly. I like this. I like Ricky doing Are You Smarter Than a Stoner?
Yeah, you guys get a lot of good moments there.
What's that?
You guys get a lot of good moments on those. Are You Smarter Than a Stoner? I like that one too, and it's unique too. It's the only game show like atmosphere that I've found on Facebook. There's a lot of them that do the races and stuff like that, and the wheels and whatnot.
Yeah,
not many that do something like this. Now, knock on wood, you guys it hasn't backfired on you yet, has it? We'll just leave it at that.
I don't think
it has. Oh, no. And don't say knock on wood.
Why?
No,
does it sound like knocking on a boner or something? Or is that
you
just
sound like you're going to have fucking wood knocking on my door or something. But no, bad joke. Never mind.
Okay.
Yeah. No, we haven't been donned yet.
All right. I didn't want to say it.
I'm super careful about it.
I
don't I won't even let somebody up if they won't turn their camera on, if they don't put their face on camera, any of that shit.
Well, I've decided to do that, but I'm still worried that someone's gonna just be like this in the backstage, and as soon as you pull them up, they just fuck it. But no, that's just that's a small nightmare I have now, but it's okay.
Yeah, some people come up and they have their back camera on, so they're facing it at all around their room and stuff. And I'm like, if you don't turn your camera around, I'm not letting you up.
You've had that happen?
Yeah.
Yeah, I wouldn't either. It's like, what are you doing?
Yeah. And that was actually the dude Waylon that like he comes in all the time, and like even if you
Tabasco?
come in all the time, yeah. Even if you come in all the time, like I'm sorry, I can't do it.
Yeah,
I
I'm
got
not sure
your
about that
face.
guy. I'm really not sure about that guy.
He
Seems like a nice guy, but
he tries to be cool at first, but then he ends up. Yeah, never mind. I don't
yeah,
want to get it.
you don't talk shit about him. He shares a lot of stuff to shares out everybody. So I
Yeah.
that's always good that people will do that, and I appreciate anybody that hits the like button and shares us out. Everybody appreciate that. I did. I shared this one out to so many groups that weren't groups that I share to ever. Like I shared this to my military units website, like remembrance page. And I know for a fact that that one doesn't have any admin like blocking it because I accidentally sent a live where I was just sitting smoking on my deck with a bong. I was grilling or something. I was having some water. I think I had my shirt off. It was funny. I didn't mean to post it on there, but it accidentally got I shared it over there, so I deleted it. But anyway, I digress. But hey, I think a lot. Thank you guys. Oh hey, Joe Kelly with 100 stars. Thanks, man. Appreciate you. Yes, very much so. Appreciate that. But yeah, guys, definitely let me know topic ideas because I can come up with topics, but I like the input of other people too. So, and it makes it feel more like it's not just me coming up with because this isn't just for me. I want to actually make its own page for people in the boxes and do everything on there, get admin and everything, and do its own thing. But I guess maybe it's just one show. I'll just keep it as a podcast.
I
Who
was
knows?
also trying to say tonight I was going to do a show with Dale, but I'm probably shooting for sometime next week. We're just going to shoot the shit. It might happen sooner, it might happen later. I don't know when it'll happen, but hopefully it'll be more of a regular thing.
What's your format?
Right now, we're just throwing shit at the wall, and I'm going to see what hits where, and then I'll figure a format out. I've got
Don't say shit, Mass. Come on now, wait. Bring up.
Dude,
Making me think of soup.
I mean, hey, we're talking. That was my perfect opportunity to hop in there, but everybody was asking to see the video, and I was like, no, no fucking poop soup video.
On that, I saw enough of it from the little thumbnail that was moving. But
Yeah,
no,
but
I asked you what your format was because I think that's important before you decide to start a show. Like Bean and I will do live streams where we're just sitting and chilling and hanging out, and that's networking. That's not a show, right? That's just hanging out.
Yeah.
But if you want to do a what do you call it, a steady show or a scheduled show?
Right now, I have no format yet. I have a couple ideas that I want to try to get.
There you go.
See who I can get. See what I can have happen.
But to your point, Mess, definitely get it started and then just change it as you go if you feel like
yeah,
it's working.
it'll grow. It'll mold into what it's supposed to be as long as you have like the idea that you're trying to build something. You'll start catching on to what hits.
Bean, you can see like my episode 1 all the way up to now on my indoor farmer show, and it was like just terrible. And if I messed up and I knew I messed up, I would just send it. Oh, it's going anyway. I'll next week do the next one.
That's how I was last year, and that's how I actually like when I made that's how like I started like a couple years ago. I started going live, not showing myself but talking, like doing meditation videos and listening to music, and that led into just like my thoughts for the day and shit a little bit. And then I found Always 420. Then I found Bean, and then I started wanting to do more shit like that. And that's when I actually did like a month, I think, while Bean was chilling with the son, so he didn't have to worry about doing anything firing hole. I brought Guy Pops up, and we did we had banter back and forth. We had a good, banter that we could fuck with each. It was pretty until I guess we both took it something wrong way or something. I don't know what happened. I forget.
Well, when you're somebody that wants to network, you're gonna bump into people that no matter how No matter what you do, that's just not going to work out between you.
Mhm.
And I have to constantly remind myself that that I have reasons for doing what I'm doing, and I can't be caught up in the day to day drama. But anyway,
Yeah.
this isn't the place for all that. I do want to wrap it up, guys. I'm sure we could go do a live over on Fire in the Hole and hang out and sesh if you guys want to. I got to go do some more trimming and stuff, but that's up to you. I do want to wrap this one up. It's been a great episode. Thanks a lot, everybody. People in the boxes. Hey guys, go share. Go check out the YouTube channel, because that is its own channel, not connected to the Indoor Farmer. So that would be like I call that our channel. That's not a my channel. I am administrating it, but yeah, go check it out. I did share it out earlier on my page, and if you guys don't mind, go like the page. Wayland the Indoor Farmer, really working on that, up to 770. Thanks for the help, Bean. Thanks for the help, everybody that's been
Yeah.
helping me out. I think it was only like a week or two ago I was at 700. So, and that's significant.
Nice.
That's very significant to me, because that's not a page that's about that's getting the quick growth because of giveaways or whatever else. I'm trying to grow an audience of people who are only there because of what I'm doing, not because of what
Yeah.
else. So no, I mean, and I've said it a million times. No offense to anyone that does, because like I've said, there are people that are on here just for the fun, just for the networking, the entertainment, the connection. I am actually trying to build a business to grow food, and so this is all supposed to be feeding into that, and that's why I keep saying it. So there we are. Thank you, whoever that is. I can't see. I see the icon, but somebody's hitting the like button a whole bunch. Appreciate it, guys. Subscribe, please. Thanks. Thank you, Elisa. Yes, for sure. Oh, Dill's World. Oh, okay. Now I'm seeing it. You could have come up on screen to say that, Elisa May. Giving your plug. But anyway, thanks a lot, everybody. Dale, do you want to plug anything? Fuck you too, genetics.
No, I'm good, man.
All right.
I never plug my fucking gear.
Fucking gear.
I just tell
Okay.
you what it is, right?
What kind of fucking gear is it?
Oh,
Is it?
I'm just talking about my seeds.
Oh yeah. Gotcha. I did find a seed from mine, but I'll talk about it later. But we'll talk to you guys in a bit. Even if I don't see you, I'll see you. Peace out, everybody.
Later.
See ya.